everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast and Merry Christmas in July. It's very exciting. We are celebrating Christmas in July today in this episode by talking about the new Christmas in July movies that aired on Hallmark Channel this last month. It's going to be really fun. And today I have with me Stephanie from Magical Movie Club. And Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so this is your first time on the podcast. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel and on your blog?
Oh, thank you. Well, my YouTube channel is Magical Movie Club. I just started it this year, brand new to it. And I started it because I love watching Hallmark movies and I love chatting about Hallmark movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to try to engage more people who love talking about Hallmark movies. So doing what we're doing today is actually kind of the whole purpose. I wanted a chance to meet people and talk to more people about it because I just love them.
Well, I really like your blog because that's what I've seen more. And I really like your blog because you take these movies seriously. You give real critical analysis to them, and you have a lot of interesting points to say. And I just appreciate that because a lot of them, people just sort of dismiss them. But no, you are analyzing the performances, you're analyzing the story, all the different production values, all that stuff. And it makes for an interesting read.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how did you first get interested in Hallmark movies?
It all started about two or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I had heard a lot of people talk about them, and I had heard all the funny pros and cons and how people make fun of them all the time. And I thought, oh, you know what? I just need to find out what they're about. Yeah. So the very first one I ever watched was Check Into Christmas.
Oh, that's a pretty good one.
It became near and dear to my heart because that was the very first one I watched and I was hooked. Mm-hmm. But I watched them that Christmas. And then the following year, my dad died. And I could suddenly relate to a lot more of the characters because how many of these characters are dealing with the loss of a parent? And they became my comfort movies because they all had a happy ending and they helped me get through just losing my dad. I'll even talk a little bit about that when we get into one of the movies, because one of the movies we talk about today, Joy, in the Vermont Christmas, I could relate to her a lot. And I thought, yeah, this is what got me into it. And then I got my mom into it. And then I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, you gather. Once you get hooked on Hallmark, you start to gather people, other fans.
And I love it.
It's just, you want to spread the joy.
And so far, what I'm finding is Hallmark fans are some of the nicest people I've ever known. So I love being a part of the community, and I hope to meet more people who are like that too.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get like an angry Hardy who might send you like a mean collage, but that's about all that's about as bad as it gets.
Okay. Well, the Hardys, if you're, yeah, okay. I can see that.
Yeah, I'm just
they're
kidding.
Very passionate.
but yeah, I mean, in the world of fandoms, it is a very tame fandom, and which I'm grateful for so much. Especially this weekend, we have a superhero movie coming out, and I always just dread them because I just know. Because the thing that's so frustrating about superhero movies is that if you like it, then you're a shill. You know, if you don't like it, then you're a hater. Like, you just can't win as a critic.
Oh, and okay.
Yeah, it's
Which
hard.
One is coming out?
Yeah, a new one's coming out this weekend. And we've had like a little bit of we've had a little bit of a break from superhero movies this year. It's been nice. Because they're just, I don't know any critic that likes covering them. They're just so unpleasant these days. And so, yeah. And so it's just nice to go into my little Hallmark world. Everybody's nice.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So you didn't grow up like watching Hallmark movies. You're pretty newcomer.
No, I'm a newcomer. I'm a newbie. So sometimes I'm trying to catch up on some of the old classics, but I've got a lot to go.
Love it. I love it. And what inspired you to like start writing about them?
You know what? I write my scripts out, and what you see is my script pretty much. And I thought, well, why not just put it out there for the people who would rather read it and see it rather than listening to me talk about it.
Okay.
It's just an alternate way to get pretty much the same information.
Very cool. Very good. Well, yeah, let's dive in. What do you think of the whole idea of Christmas in July? Do you enjoy it? Getting a little Christmas in the middle of summer?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I like Christmas in July. Before I even started watching Hallmark Christmas in July, I got hooked on things like QVC shopping, things
Uh-huh.
like that, because
Yeah.
they have a big July. So every year, my husband and I would pick one Christmas item that we will buy in July. So
Oh.
I love it. It kind of gets me going.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like it's just you just need something this time of year to get I don't know, get you through it.
Mm-hmm.
You really do. It's halfway through the year. You need a boost.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Very good. Let's dive in talking about these movies. And we have a 1 to 5 crowns is our scores that we give.
Okay.
And so we'll do that. And yeah, we're gonna mainly talk about the 3 new ones because Ice Palace Romance and Rescuing Christmas were both last year, but we'll talk a little bit about them. But the main is these 3 new ones. And the first one we're gonna talk about, Falling Like Snowflakes. This aired on the 29th of June. And it stars Rebecca Dalton and Marcus Rosner, and it was directed by Max McGuire, writer Briar Freed. A photographer determined to complete her exhibit by capturing a rare photo of a 12-sided snowflake enlists the help of a childhood friend, and they go on a mission they'll never forget. So overall, what did you think about this one?
Overall, I thought that it had a lot of hype in that they kept building up and building up and building up to something big that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was a letdown for me. It was a big letdown for me.
Yeah, it was kind of a bore, but I mean, I'm also often very forgiving of these Christmas in July movies because I have some space, in between the 40 that we get during Christmas. It's like, oh, Hallmark Christmas movie. And there were parts of all 3 of these movies that felt sort of old school Hallmark movie. And there were some definite parts of this that felt that way, and that was kind of nostalgic and fun. And I mean, even just things like her having this quirky, weird job is very old school Hallmark, and of course, her being a photographer.
Yeah,
gotta have a photographer. And then I really felt like the whole rival, I think Suzanne, I think was her name. That was very old school. Like it might as well have been the 9 Lives of Christmas, the scheming, other woman kind of a thing. And used to see that a lot in these movies. And so she was very like kind of classic, but pretty much everything that had anything to do with the actual photography and them like getting lost in the snow and pretty much anything with their relationship was really boring.
I agree on that.
Yeah.
I was looking at it in terms of what happens to these characters. Yeah. For me, I like to look at the inside of the characters a little bit and figure out, did they grow at all? Did they change at all? Is there an event that happened that just gave them a fork in the road and all of a sudden they thought they were going this way with their life? They had everything planned out and then something unexpected happens. And did they veer off in another direction and discover something new and wonderful? None of that happened here.
You're
in my
right. They're
opinion.
both very
Actually,
static characters.
if I may, I thought that the Noah, that was the male lead in this one, I seem to recall, he had a backstory that I thought would have been more interesting than the story that happened here.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have learned more about his career as a weatherman and the fact that he was willing to give up a possible big city career to move back to his hometown to drive a snowplow because he wanted to provide a better life for his daughter. That seemed to me, I wanted to know more about that, but it was wrapped up in about 2 sentences.
That's true. That's true.
And so that I thought, wow, they really could have gone somewhere there and shown. I had all these ideas of what they could have done to make it better, and that just, I was disappointed there.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point and very true. I did kind of think this whole idea of the snowflake photography was interesting. And I'm like, how do you know when you're taking a picture that it's the 12-sided one? Like, how do you even, I mean, just from like looking, like, how do you even know? Like, I was just like fascinated by this whole thing, and they looked really cool. Those photos.
Oh, didn't they though? Yeah.
Yeah.
I did love those photos. They were great. If those were real photos of real snowflakes, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times with these Hallmark photographers or artists, the like photography is not good. Like it's weak. And in this, I actually was like, those are cool. I like them. That's fun. These photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you know from like looking at the snow? They were like, I guess this 12-sided one happens in like really extreme cold or something, I guess. But
that's what they were saying.
Still, how do you know from looking at a snowflake? I guess
clearly you don't. Clearly she just has to take photos of lots and lots of snowflakes and then later goes back to see what did she get.
Yeah. It was interesting. But it did kind of feel more like a Winterfest movie than a Christmas movie to me.
Yep. Of the 3 movies that we saw, the new ones, only one of them really felt like it had a Christmas feel to it. This was not that one.
I'd agree. I think the other one felt more Winterfesty to me as well.
I know which one you're talking about, and I thought the same thing.
Yeah. Excuse me. But what did you think of the rival Suzanne? Did you think she was fun?
Yes, actually I did, because she played her so quirky. And normally I'm not the type who really likes a lot of campiness, but for some reason she just cracked me up. The way she would just strut in the community center looking for some evidence that she could sneak and learn about how to do. She cracked me up. I thought, okay, she, as an actress, she must have had a lot of fun hamming it up doing this.
Yeah, I agree.
So I actually appreciated that. I thought, okay, there's somebody, she was more entertaining than some of the other characters.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think that Rebecca and Marcus had good chemistry? How did you feel about them?
Kind of down the middle of the road. It wasn't super special. I didn't get any goosebumps from their love story at the end. It was sweet. Nothing spectacular.
Yeah, Marcus, he's done so many movies the last couple of years, and a lot of them have been duds. I think he has struggled to find chemistry. He's one of those actors. He's a super great, nice person, great actor. But it's too bad, because I just really enjoyed him when he was the wrong guy in so many movies. He was so funny, and he brought something to that role. And it's just a shame that those can't be like profitable enough, because I just feel like as the leading man, it's just so bland, and it's just too bad. I wish he could go back to being the wrong guy.
I've only seen him in a couple of movies, and I felt the same thing in those couple this year.
There's one I love called The Birthday Wish. That's a favorite that I recommend. Yeah, that he's the wrong guy, the other guy, and he's really funny in that one. Nice. Yeah. But I think the worst part about this movie, though, was they did a terrible job with the fake snow. It looked so bad. I mean, for a movie about a snowflake photographer, it needed to look better.
Growing up in Southern California and now being in Arizona, I don't have any personal opinion on that. But I sure saw a lot of reviews trashing the snow
Yeah, it
scenes.
looked
I thought,
so
okay,
bad.
clearly they didn't do that very well.
No, because everything was just like bright light, bright, and then you could like see the snow machine, like practically, like just it just looked real. I just thought it looked really, really bad.
Uh,
And then the whole thing with the way they did the car breakdown,
mhm.
that looked really bad too. I mean, it just was not. I mean, I know they have a small budget and everything, but I was just like, what is even wrong with this car? I don't even know. Like that was
That
all not
scene
done well.
or the aftermath of that scene
Yeah.
was one of those moments when I thought, okay, something big is going to happen because
Yeah.
now it's stuck. And I don't know if this is giving away too much, but then the next scene, all of a sudden, everything was fine again. It's like it became a nothing burger.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, come on, give me some suspense. Something is going to happen as a result of this
Yeah.
crash. But no.
And then with the rival, that was also like you kept expecting there was going to be this big like confrontation like moment or whatever, but there really wasn't. She was just they never even like talked.
They didn't. I looked at it twice. They never had a conversation or even a scene together. Never interacted.
It's wild.
I liked Susan's conversation with Charlotte at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, Charlotte's comments when she was showing her work cracked me up. That was funny. Like,
Yeah.
what you enjoy taking photographs that make people feel queasy?
Like, yeah,
that made
pretty
me giggle.
much.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
that
good.
was good. That was good. And there's this whole thing where she loses her camera, and
Oh,
yeah, that
that
was
I
pretty
cringed.
bad. That was bad.
Well, I cringed because it was this colossal snowstorm. There was no way she didn't even know where she lost it. She said it was buried under who knows how much snow.
Mm-hmm.
And am I giving too much away by?
No, this is a recap, so we can
We can
spoil
totally.
away.
And then the next morning, oh, by the way, I went back and found it for you, and it's in pristine condition that you can't see that there was any damage whatsoever. And I'm like,
Right.
at least show me your attempt. Well, they didn't. I wanted to see him go back and look for it. I wanted them to make something out of it.
Yeah.
Show me that he went above and beyond to do something really special for her. Instead, it was wrapped up in a sentence. Oh, yeah, I went back and found it, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
That was one of those moments I was so let down. It's like, show me this stuff. Don't just wrap it up in a sentence.
Yeah. I know they have limited time, but like there were so many scenes that were so like slow and boring out of this that like there were plenty of places that you could cut out and have room for like stuff that actually is like matters to the plot.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought the kid was cute. Julie, I think was her name.
Oh, I did like her.
He was
and
cute.
I like Tegan's relationship with her.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. I also thought the art buyer Charlotte, I thought she was pretty like a stuck-up snob, but like a pretty fun stuck-up snob.
I didn't have a problem with her.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
The only problem I had with her was the very first day that she met Susan. She was telling Susan, I picture this like a job interview, like Susan wanted to talk to her about presenting her artwork in her studio. And the first thing Charlotte was telling her about was how great Tegan's work was.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care for that. I thought, wait a minute, if I'm showing up at a job interview, do I want them to be telling me how amazing the person was right before me?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Right.
That was a little awkward to me. I thought, that was pushing it for me.
That's true.
But she made up for it with the comments at the end when I laughed. So that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what would you give this one? 1 to 5? What do you think?
I gave it a 2.
2.
Because I was so let down in so many. Even when I watched it live, when I have a chance, I will tweet, on Twitter, X, whatever. And I noticed that there's a group of others who do it with me. And there was somebody else who was saying a lot of the same things I was. We were looking at scenes thinking, oh, I'll bet this is going to happen. I'll bet this is going to happen. And none of it did. So because of that, I had to give it a 2. I thought that wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go back and watch it.
We want that payoff. I give it 2.5. Just because I did enjoy the rival and I did like just the novelty of the snowflake photography. I thought it was kind of fun. But yeah, I probably wouldn't watch it again. It was pretty boring.
I'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Elise Murray and her exciting book, Society Girl. Set in the mysterious world of Oxford University's secret societies, Society Girl follows Sam, a duke's estranged daughter, as she attempts to join the most famous club of them all, the Animos Society. Her final initiation challenge is simple: find a man, convince him she's in love with him, and then break his heart in humiliating fashion. Hardened by her father's rejections, believing that the Animos Society is her key to his love and acceptance, Sam throws herself into making Dano Best, her father's chauffeur and local musician, fall for her. But she never counted on falling in love with him right back. Fans of Colleen Hoover, Anna Hong, and Mia Sheridan will love Society Girl, a sweeping romance from bestselling novelist and screenwriter Elise Murray. Free for Kindle Unlimited users for a limited time. Go to elisemurray.com/novels/Society Girl for more information. Or you can use the affiliate link below.
All right. Then we're going to talk about A Very Vermont Christmas. And this one was on the 20th of July, stars Ryan McPartlin and Katie Leclerc, director John Stimson, writers Stephen Kent and Pamela Rice. A local champion skier and Vermont brewmaster team up as an unlikely match to create a seasonal microbrew in order to save her family's business by Christmas. So this is the other one that I thought was pretty old school Hallmark, the whole like rival breweries. The rival brewer is her ex. Can we save the family business? A lot of those things are pretty, common themes of going on. And overall, I thought it was serviceable. I thought it was okay. I like both the leads. I thought they were pretty fun. It was this to me is like completely average. But like, okay. I thought it was okay. I don't know. What do you think?
Very similar to what you just said. Yeah, I pretty much agree. It was very average. I had never seen Ryan McPartlin. I'm aware of some of his previous work. I just hadn't seen it before. His style of acting, I was not used to. So it took me a little while to watch him and get used to him. Yeah. By the end, I realized, okay, I kind of like him now. But my first impression, I didn't care for him as much, but he sounded like he was in a commercial to me. But you know what? And there were a couple of moments, like when he was meeting with his boss and he said, well, who doesn't like sales, Bob? And I thought, okay, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, he was really leaning into the humor. He wasn't taking it that seriously.
Got it.
Which in one way I kind of appreciate, because these are romantic comedies in the end. But yeah, I kind of wish the script had given him a little bit more to do for his character, and just I felt like he had to work real hard for this one. As much as it worked, both of them I think had to work real hard to make this script work. And I think even in his interview that I did, I think he even said that they improv'd quite a bit, and that makes a lot of sense, that they were kind of trying to lift up this script. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. And I don't know if it maybe is more interesting if you are into the whole brewery scene. That's definitely not my scene at all. And so maybe that might be more appealing. I don't know. But I mean, I feel like with these movies, you can just like sub in bakery, pie shop, cookie shop, whatever. Like they're pretty interchangeable. Brewery.
I did enjoy that, actually. I like learning about something new. And okay, my husband has brewed beer a little bit in the past, so I knew a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And I'm always up to seeing behind the scenes of something new, because I love the show Unwrapped years ago. So for me, this was kind of a little unwrapped.
Yeah. Did it make you want to try any of these flavors, these Christmas holiday flavors?
Yeah, perhaps that one I wouldn't mind trying, although I'm not normally an IPA person, but yeah, I would be willing to try it, having seen that now. Nice. And maybe because they didn't make it wasn't constant. The whole story was about the beer, but it was more about the people too. And And anyway, so I was okay with that.
Yeah.
The balance was fine.
They had a fun like meet cute on the ski resort. That was enjoyable. It was nice
Sort of.
because it was nice because they filmed us. It was nice because they filmed us in January, I think, and so they were able to have real snow and be able to have skiing and things like that. That often, I mean, because they're filming these Christmas movies in August, like all they can do is just have the ice skating, and because everything else is off limits. So that was kind of nice. I thought that they were able to do that.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear that. When I first saw the ski slopes and the ski lodge up in Vermont, my first thought was that old Hollywood classic movie White Christmas, because they were trying to get a snowstorm so that they could open up their Vermont lodge. So I thought, oh, this is what they were aiming for. Here we go. This is nice. So it was really pretty. I love the scenery, and it's neat to know that really was genuine.
Yeah, he said they filmed it actually in I think he said Massachusetts is actually where they filmed it in January. Yeah. So that was nice. It also did sort of make it feel a little like a Winterfest movie though.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And what did you think of the whole drama between like the ex and the rivalry and the other brewery and all that?
I enjoyed that. Actually, I had no problem with that. That made it fun.
In general, it made it fun. I do think that she was awfully quick to like turn on him, and believe these things about him, and it's always a little frustrating when I know she hadn't really known him that long at this point, but still, it's always frustrating in the rom-coms when it's like, you could just have a conversation with this person and talk it out.
Oh, I was
you figured out.
When I was watching it and she turned on him that quickly, my first thought was, hello, Captain Obvious. Your ex had already done this to you. And she actually took her ex into the back office where her recipes were. She even took him into the back office where the recipes were.
Right.
And so the idea that she immediately assumed one and not the other, that bothered me.
Yeah. It made her character kind of unlikable, and she was able to kind of bring it back because I think she's a pretty likable actress. But yeah, that was just not reasonable. You would, even if you had just started to gain an interest in a person, started to fall for them, like you would give them the benefit of the doubt. And yeah. So, but I did like the whole idea of the brewski competition. That was fun.
I did too. That was fun.
That was fun.
I didn't like the way her emotions went from polar opposites very quickly within the same scene. And that's kind of what you're saying, where she very quickly turned. And then in another scene, she was warm and fuzzy. And then within the same sentence, she was angry and mad.
Yeah.
And even at the end, I love the message of forgiveness, that we're trying to tie that in with Christmas. And I'm always about that. But it happened too fast.
Yeah.
It happened too fast for me, in that I was thinking of comparing this to even the Grinch had to go back and show the town that he had changed. I thought that they welcomed the ex back in way too quickly without him actually showing them maybe something that he had changed. I would have been open to the forgiveness, but I went, whoa, that was lightning fast. Where did that come from? Too quick for me. I thought they needed to develop that more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there was a nice kind of community moment at the end, like everybody coming together to save the brewery and pooling resources. It's a wonderful life moment.
Yeah. I did appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good. And definitely they did a good job making whatever brewery they used. They made it very appealing, made it kind of place you'd want to be at, like with the dollar bills on the ceiling and stuff like
that. Yes. And what was the assistant Kevin and what he did at the end for them? That was so special.
Yeah. So I would give this one 3 out of 5
Yep,
crowns.
I gave the same 3. Because it was just right down the middle of the road for me, pretty much. I mean, a little bit higher in the middle of the road, but pretty middle of the road.
Yeah. Okay, the last one of these new ones is Operation Nutcracker. and this was on Hallmark Movies Now, and it stars Ashley Newbrow and Christopher Russell. Director David Weaver, writers Katie Breyer and Erica Dushman, who we talked with Katie, just posted today, actually. So you definitely want to check out that. It was a really fun interview, yeah. And
I can't wait.
we've had everybody but Erica we've had Ashley on, we've had Christopher on, we've had and we've had director David Weaver and Katie. So we just need to get Erica on, and we'll have the Operation Nutcracker team
Nice.
at one point or another.
I've been paying attention to writers and directors a little bit more this year. I've got my own little log of what they are, and David Weaver's done a few of my absolute favorites.
He is very reliable. He's very, very, very good. Very good. And I really, like I said, I really enjoyed talking to Katie. She's very fun. So I love the writers, love talking to the writers, and because these movies, I feel like for the most part, you can interchange most of the leads and they'll be fine. Like they're solid, like kind of troupe of actors that they have up there. And so to me, the biggest determining factor of if the movie is going to be good or not is usually the writing. And there's just some really awesome writers. The very first person that we ever interviewed was a writer, Nina Wyman, and she's outstanding. And Julie Sherman Wolfe and Tracy Andreen and Anna White, who wrote Check Into Christmas. There's just some really wonderful writers that when I see their name on, I'm like, ooh.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. But this one, when a priceless antique nutcracker set to be auctioned at the Warby family Christmas charity goes missing in an unfortunate suitcase swap, it is up to exacting event planner Lottie Morgan and the free-spirited heir to the Warby dynasty, Tristan, to track it down, all while capturing the heart and spirit of Christmas. So what did you think overall of this one?
Overall, I really enjoyed this one. This one, it was all about capturing the heart and the magic of Christmas, and they did a really nice job. I got little teary-eyed at the end for the girl, for Joey. Mm-hmm. You know, when they did that for her, I thought, oh my gosh, that was it for me. So I know a movie's a good one when I feel something, a little sense of emotion, whether it's goosebumps or a little teary-eyed, and I did. So that meant it was good for me.
I completely agree. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it really felt like it paid sort of homage to old screwball comedies from the 1950s. I think you could see like a Barbara Stanwyck in kind of this sort of story, the switching of the bags, and it was interesting when I talked to Katie, she mentioned What's Up, Doc as like one of her favorites and something that was an inspiration. And if you've seen that movie, like that's a big plot in there, is all the bags get swapped and switched around and it's all mayhem. And that's one of the greatest comedies ever made. But this, I think, tapped into some of those inspirations you can see, and I just thought it was genuinely funny. It was charming. I can't remember a time when Christopher Russell has been better in a lead in one of these movies. He was really, really good, I thought, in this. Yep. And it really capitalized on just how charming and how charismatic he is, and he was great in all his interactions with the girl and the little girl. And then I also liked the portrayal of the dad, the one that gets switched, because he's obviously a very busy dad. And one of the things that I really dislike is sort of the portrayal of the workaholic, slave to his job dad who has to be reformed. I really hate that. And I was just so glad that his family was like totally understanding and wasn't like, you're horrible for losing this, or you're working too hard. Like, they were just really loving and kind, I thought, towards him. And he wasn't like the bad guy because he has to work a lot for his job.
I noticed that the wife almost got that way in the very opening scene when he looked at his phone because he got a text message.
Yeah.
She kind of scolded him a little, so I wasn't sure I was going to like her. But ultimately I did. I liked her flower shop and the way I ultimately did.
I kind of felt that too. I was like, oh, is this going to be one of these characters I don't like? But once they found out that it was the wrong doll, they were pretty understanding.
I was curious about, and maybe this is a guy thing. Anybody notice that both of the men hadn't opened up their suitcases for 24 hours?
Yeah, that's true.
I thought neither one of them noticed that they had the wrong bag for a full 24 hours. I'm like, this has got to be a guy thing.
Yeah.
I know that my boys don't unpack until I actually tell them, go unpack your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I know. I get it out as soon as possible. With you there. Yeah.
My only character flaw with the dad,
Uh-huh.
I thought he had horrible judgment with what he did with the Nutcracker that wasn't his to give. That bothered me. I went, oh, it's not yours. I mean, his heart was in the right place. I can't fault him for that, but that one stuck with me a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I really liked this whole long sequence in that massive Christmas store.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was fun. I was like, I wish I could go there.
I know it.
It's really fun.
I loved her, how Lottie created the whole itinerary and the map. We're going to do this. This is where he's going to do on this day and this day and this day. And I thought, okay, this is going to be fun because we're going to get to go see all these things. So yeah, and we did. I thought that was great.
Yeah. What do you think of Christopher Russell? Did you like him in this?
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Very much. I liked the sense of humor that he brought with it, like with the beard in the beginning and Shaggy and how he hadn't told her, and showing up. Even the camera showing when he opened up the door, they show us his boots and the slacks and all the way up to the clean for him, trimmed up beard, that is. And I thought, oh, he's dreamy there. Look at that one. I thought that was a nice job. And just the way he presented himself and looked at her and talked to her, he was wonderful. I really liked it.
Yeah, he was
and even
really good.
I like the way that Lottie's character, she made it a point to say that was mean, but she didn't get nasty about it. Right. I don't like it when people get nasty unnecessarily. And she didn't. And I thought, okay, she made her point. Yeah, that was kind of mean. I wish you had told me, but I'll get over it. And she went inside anyway. So that for me was a win. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty impressive that they had this long scene at the Nutcracker. You know, that and it wasn't just like one ballet dancer. It was like the whole, it was a whole production. I was surprised about that. And it was pretty long.
And they showed us all some highlights of good parts. I've seen the Nutcracker and I do love it, but it is long to sit through. It's very long to sit through the whole thing, long. But I do love it. So I was glad that of some of the parts that they showed us. I went, all right, this is good.
I just figured that, they're just going to have like the Sugar Plum Fairy or something like that, you know, and just have one dancer or maybe two. But no, they had like the whole production. It was pretty impressive. It was like they must have like called up the Ontario Ballet. Like,
I'll bet they did. Because I thought that was good to be able to show us, the viewer, really what this was about, so that we would appreciate the event at the end, the fundraising event, the auction, even more, especially when little Joey finally got to be Clara.
Did you think that the Nutcracker looked sort of special enough, like fancy enough?
No.
I agree.
No. It didn't look any different than the $50 wooden one that they had found at the Christmas market. I couldn't really tell the difference between them when I was looking at them. Honestly, I just assumed at the end that they were going to give the $50 one to little Joey.
Right.
That one I thought made a lot more sense. It's like, I know that there was the struggle between the brother and the sister, Tristan and Jules, and the head broke off of the decoy Nutcracker, but it looked like it was just glued. I thought, just glue it back on. It didn't look like a bad break to me. And so I didn't expect little Joey to end up with the real one at the very end. I thought, whoa, that was extravagant.
Well, I thought there were a lot of sort of swoon-worthy lines, like when he says, "It seems like we always find what we're looking for." It's like, yes. Dreamboat.
Yes.
That was good. And so overall, I was just really entertained by it. I thought it was funny. I thought it had likable leads. Just kind of everything you want from a Hallmark Christmas movie, Christmas in July. So I give her a pretty high score. I would give it like a 4.5.
Nice. I was thinking of a 4.
Yeah, or 4.25, something like that. I
Yeah.
really did enjoy it. So
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
Let's talk about the 2 that were on Hallmark Movies Now last year, and then they released them on Hallmark Channel this year. Both of them in reduced time from what they were on Hallmark Movies Now.
Oh.
Yeah, because they were 100 minutes on, and that's why they were on the streaming, and so then they had to reduce them to 80 minutes, which is a real shame for Rescuing Christmas, but I suppose Christmas was probably a blessing. But yeah, so Rescuing Christmas, this is Rachel Lee Cook, Sam Page, Emily Moss Wilson, director, writer Sarah Montana, and Jim Head. And it follows an anti-Christmas photographer as she wishes Christmas would disappear. So did you watch this last year? Had you seen it before?
I had not.
Okay. So what did you think?
Neat idea. A little too campy for me, parts of the middle.
Okay.
I love the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I loved some of the scenes. I wasn't, it wasn't my favorite overall. And I may be in the minority on that one.
Yeah. Hey, that's all good. I really do love this one. I think it's really clever. I love everything that they had to think of for making Christmas without Christmas was so smart. To be able to, do the tennis ball ornaments and the toilet paper trees and just like so many creative ideas. And I mean, I just think something like if you were going to pick a song that's not a Christmas song that kind of feels like a Christmas song, that Celebrate song is like the perfect song.
That's true.
That was so smart. And there were just so many clever things like that. And I love the elves so much. And that's the thing. They did kind of cut a bit of the elves out.
Oh.
Like there's a really funny scene where Debbie like loses it at a volunteer in the face. And Sam Page is like, it's just a volunteer. You need to calm down.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just really funny. But I really loved both of them. I thought they were very funny. So I really enjoyed this one, but I can see it definitely is mean. And a lot of people don't really like the whole, like when these movies go kind of North Pole, they like them to be a little more grounded.
I like the North Pole. I love the North Pole. That was one of my, I love it doesn't necessarily have to be grounded for me. And I like the ending because obviously there was some true character growth in the end. And she got really emotional when she realized you don't know what you have until it's gone, right? And so I thought, okay, those were things I did like about the movie. I felt that everybody was too uptight throughout the whole movie, and I just kind of wanted to relax a little bit, let me calm and watch. And everybody was like this. I wanted to do this throughout the whole movie because everybody was tense, and I think that was the part I didn't care for.
I can see that. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah, I can see that. Well, I would give this one a very high score. I just love the concept so much. I thought it was really well executed. I like Rachel a lot. I like Sam a lot. I loved the elves, and it does have heart in it. And I'd be pretty mad if that guy ate all my cookies too.
Yes.
How dare you? So I would probably give this a 5. I mean,
Nice.
is it technically perfect? No, but for me, what I'm wanting out of these movies, for me, it delivered. And I did watch the edited cut just to see. I did watch that today, and it still, I think, was pretty entertaining. But I don't know. What would you give it?
For me, it's more of a 3.5.
Sounds that's very fair. All right, well, let's talk about An Ice Palace Romance. This stars Celeste Desjardins and Marcus Rosner, Shauna Steele director, writer Andrew Daly. A journalist faces old fears when she returns to her hometown ice rink to cover a story. With the help of the owner and his young daughter, she begins to reevaluate her life's purpose. So what did you think of this one?
This one had a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it could show some wonderful character growth and development. It had a lot of potential. Overall, I liked the 2 main characters and maybe 1 supporting character just fine. I didn't like the rest of the town. They kind of all ruined it for me.
Yeah.
I want to see a Christmas movie where I would love to see the town and want to live there. I want to be there. Draw me in. This was no Evergreen.
Right.
This was no Garland, Alaska, which are 2 of my favorite Hallmark Christmas towns ever.
Yeah.
And I kept looking at this thinking, I wouldn't want to be here. So there was something wrong in the execution.
Yeah. I did like, I think it's been a bit since I saw this one. It's been over a year, but, or it's been since last Christmas. It's been a bit since I saw this one. But I remember liking, there was like a side relationship with her coworker, I think it was.
Yes. She was a photographer. She was the other character I actually did like.
Yeah. And I liked that. That was kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah. But mostly I just thought this movie was so boring. I thought it was so dull. I just did not care about saving this rink, and it's just a plot we've seen so many times before. So you really have to bring something to it with the dialogue or the characters or something to kind of, the banter has to be there if you're going to do a plot that's that kind of stale of save the ice rink.
Yeah. And I was hoping by the end that if they saved the ice rink, that they were going to do something spectacular with it. And that didn't happen. And so for me, that's what made it too middle of the road, just kind of dull. It's like, oh, they're not going to tear it down. Woo. Like, give me something exciting. Make it spectacular. Make me want to come there. Even after they saved it, there was nothing about it that made me want to go there.
Yeah, they make it seem like in the promos that they were running that it's like really about the ice skating or whatever, and it's really not. There was that one like ice skating competition that they break out for, which I guess was kind of entertaining, but like that was really all that they had.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, this one is worse than Falling Like Snowflakes for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, this one was more boring to me. At least, like, I thought the snowflakes was just like something a little bit fresh. Like, I'd never heard of that kind of photography, and I liked the way they looked, and it was like there was something kind of new about it. And so I gave that one 2.5. I would give this one a 2.
I was thinking of the same 2 that I gave Snowflakes.
Yeah,
they're kind
same.
of on even par with me. And maybe because I thought that this one started with a better story than Snowflake started with. It had the potential to be a really good story if it was told right.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, let us know if you're listening what you think of these movies and how you would rate them. We want to hear in the comment section or on Twitter. And Stephanie, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So if people want to follow you on your content, how do they do that?
I am at Magical Movie Club on YouTube, and I'm active on Twitter a bit. It's Magical Movie Club, but that was too long to fit as a Twitter handle, so I had to take the U out of club.
Oh,
so
okay. Nice. Well, we'll have all of that in the description. Y'all should definitely check it out. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes, including I just did a review of Rescuing Christmas over on my channel. a little mini, because I'm doing Christmas in July over a family movie night every Monday over there. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And if you are watching YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We really, really appreciate that. And check out the Patreon. That's the biggest way you can support us. You can be part of watch-alongs. This weekend, we have a watch-along with Catherine Davis, and we're going to watch Santa's Got Style, which is really fun. And she could hear all the behind the scenes about how these movies are made at the watch-along. And any level of patron can join in. So please take a look at that. It really helps us a lot. And we have the merch store where we have tons of festive designs. So take a look at that. And thanks again, everybody. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.